black people to really step into their financial power, they have to understand our financial history.
Right.
And it really started with Abraham Lincoln. And when Lincoln freed the slaves, he was the first person who actually had the vision of how big the black economy could be. Because when he freed the slaves, he's like, let me think. So these people have been enslaved. I'm giving them a tiny bit of money to get started, and they've never worked with money before. And they don't understand it. So I've got to give them a place where they can put this money. So he gave them the Freedmen's Bank, and it was a bank where, all the freed slaves and all the black veterans started depositing and building money. When I hear people say things today like, oh, we're too disadvantaged to have money or we're whatever, within 10 years, I think by 1864 with 1870 something, within 10 years, this group of freed slaves amassed $57 million in those days. This is 10 years after slavery. They built
pooling their resources.
They built schools. They built community centers. This is 10 years after slavery. So, anything that's as hard as it gets. Mm-hmm. So, there was a huge economic downturn, the biggest one actually then due to the railroads crashing. So that was like a depression. So that took a hit on it. And as these slaves were building money, all those officers and all this, just a ton of corruption came into it. And then Frederick Douglass was actually asked he had $12,000 in the Freedmen's Bank, and he was asked to save it. And he came in and he took a look. He's like, too much, the deposits of it, it's gone. So he went to Congress and he asked them to do what the FDIC does now. And he said, can you please insure these deposits for 65%? Congress said yes, but instead they took the money and they used it to build the Treasury Annex building in Washington.
Wow.
Which is why Treasury Secretary Lew renamed it. Oh, no, he's not Treasury Secretary anymore. But he renamed it the Freedmen's Bank. Mm-hmm. Giving it back. But can you imagine what that $57 million, how many trillions of dollars that would have been in the black community today?
Absolutely.
So you take that, you take the Great Migration when, 5 million blacks moved north. And what's interesting is that I did a story on this. It was much more because of a fear of being lynched. Lynching was so prevalent and not talked about. People moved north for a better life. The value of the land that they walked away from is now the green belt. That would have been trillions of dollars in the black community. Another major event, the burning of Black Wall Street.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where a lot of our commerce and things were. These are huge things to recover from. Redlining, the biggest real estate expansion in the country after the war, and blacks weren't allowed. There was actually red lines drawn on maps where blacks weren't allowed to buy homes. So we missed all that. Predatory lending, the death of Dr. Martin Luther King. When you look at those events, and then when you think about what's the first thing we said, that black households earning $200,000 or more, $75,000 or more are the fastest growing income group. Who in the world else could have survived all that?
Right.
Absolutely.
But blacks.
And when people act like, oh, we all start at the same place now, slavery is over, there's a whole history that has us not really starting at the same place.